Cool.
Okay.
If I capture Nick Maduro, I can play the hero. Start to stoke some fear, or show the world he's a zero. Taking Greenland from Denmark, it'll be a walk in the park. Acting like a big land shark, keeping allies in the dark. If I threaten all of NATO, make tariff hot potato, show Ukraine some Putin hate-o. As the UN throws tomatoes, threaten Mexico with troops. Say I'm not afraid to shoot, make the world pay its dues while I build myself statues. Cause you see, I'm Trump the Conqueror, the peacenik with war plans, trying to be the world's provocateur. I'm just doing what I can. I will manifest some destiny, defeating those detesting me. To stop 8 wars, you start 8 more. Put the Nobel in my hands. Put the Nobel in my hands. If I bomb Iran again, Israel stays my biggest fan. In the Caribbean, kill some lowly fishermen. If I take a jet from Carter, see my pancakes getting buttered with the Mideast all aflutter. Watch my ballroom fills with funders. Hit Nigeria on Christmas, stopping ISIS never misses. The libs, they can't dismiss this. I think I'll take a mistress. If my peace plans get rebuked, then I'll just threaten that I'll nuke them. When you're attacking and looting your treaties backed by Putin. Cause you see, I'm Trump the Conqueror, the most peaceful guy around. From America first to home monitor, with lots of boots on the ground. I will manifest some destiny, defeating those detesting me. To stop 8 wars, you start 8 more. Put the Nobel in my hands. Put the Nobel in my hands.
I really hate that sad loser, Mr. Newberger.
Who, me? Oh, me? That's wonderful. How do you find these? They're so good.
I just love Mr. Newberger so much. He is such a talented guy. And I saw that one and I had a good chuckle and I thought,
oh, that's so
I have to give Mr. Newberger a little bit of time on the show today. So thank you, Mr. Newberger, for your amazing talent.
After all, he is the peace president.
Yes, he is.
He is.
So I haven't seen you since the first. And of course, my first question to you is Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to everyone out there. This is going to be a fabulous year. I feel it, Whimsy.
I think so too. You know, a lot of people are scared because this is also the year when most people predict both Russia and Iran will both fall.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling about that prediction?
Well, I got to tell you, when you look at these things on the surface, it certainly appears that way. I mean, my God, the way you're looking at it right now, with Trump more or less declaring he wants to claim the whole Western Hemisphere, it certainly looks like the groundwork for a World War III, but I don't think it's heading there. Do you?
I think that Iran is falling now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little disturbed as to why Russia isn't falling, because Russia should have fallen before Iran.
Yeah.
So some people feel like there's still hope in Iran, that they can still pull it out.
Yeah.
They can pull a rabbit out. They are bringing in fighters from Iraq.
Yeah.
Well, they need Shia fighters to come in, and the only Shia fighters are maybe soldiers of fortune coming in from Iraq. But data would show that Putin is supposed to fall before Iran. And the main reason that the computers feel that way is because Putin is under so much military strain right now, it would take very little to take him out, a CIA coup.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of validity to that. It may still happen soon. Whimsy, I'm going to interrupt you, but do you think, because you pulled this in 2023, do you think if we reran it for now, if it might have some tweaks? And
the tweak was, they said that the part about phase one, exchange hostages, and then lure Hamas to a host country.
Yeah.
Now they're saying, forget about it. Hamas is refusing to leave. Just start the rebuild and get the people to safety. And then if you have to take out Hamas, you will. But and then so they're just starting phase 3 now, even though Hamas is still there. So it's not quite following it exactly. And look, we got the holdup of why the war didn't end is because Hamas would not leave. So that was the holdup with phase 2, which was adopted by Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Initially.
If I may interject, one of the things I'm thinking of, this did not factor in our invasion of Venezuela. And now we're claiming that we're going to take control of that country and the rebuild, quote unquote, rebuilding of Venezuela. And because we have vested interest in rebuilding Gaza, we're diluting ourselves out, diluting ourselves.
Well, we're not. It's not American money. That's if you're looking at the Abraham Accords, if you're looking at GOA, the Global Oasis Alliance, and the Abraham Accords, it's the whole world is putting money into the rebuild.
Okay, I didn't know how much that was going to be.
Yeah, so you have people like Leonard DiCaprio's putting money in. You have people like Steven Spielberg putting money in. So you have personal people like DiCaprio that's putting money in, and then you have actual countries that are investing in the new Gaza.
Okay.
But the part that they're starting now is the perimeter. And that's because the perimeter is safe and they can begin to bring people into the perimeter. But the Global Oasis Alliance, which I've written about, brings in about $165 billion in trade. But people who've been interested in donating: Sir Richard Branson, Bill and Melinda Gates, Mackenzie Scott, Jeff Bezos.
I love hearing that. But the very wealthy, the billionaires, they are doing at least some good with their money and their resources and their influence and power.
Yeah,
I'm very happy to hear that.
I think there were some actors too that got in. I'm pretty sure Beyonce also.
Well, isn't she a billionaire now? Beyonce? I think I read that.
She's one of the people that wanted to donate to the rebuild. I'm trying to find the other names. I think.
You mentioned Leonardo DiCaprio. It would not surprise me. Taylor Swift. I haven't heard that, but with her.
Oh, here it is. Private donations and celebrity contributions. People that want to donate. Richard Branson, Virgin, can donate up to $3 billion. Planet Pledge. Beyonce, Leonard DiCaprio, Bono.
Yeah.
Collectively are pledging between 100 and 500 million.
That's beautiful. I mean, it's a sacred responsibility. When you have been entrusted with that kind of wealth, they're doing the right thing. So I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah. So, if you're just looking at pure math and you're trying to least amount of deaths, if you're trying to get to how do we stop people from dying, Putin needs to get removed.
Yes. And
he's not somebody that can stay.
It's obvious. It's very obvious. I still think it's happening. We've certainly been seeing it in our readings we've been doing the last few weeks. New energy shifts, predictions change, but it seems to be consistent.
Right.
We're just not seeing it just yet.
That Trump is now officially lame duck with another Republican has died out of California.
Yes, I saw that.
And Marjorie Taylor Greene has left, and now there's civil war in MAGA between the anti-Israel, anti-Zionist Candace Owens and the Nazi Fuentes going point.
Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to be on The View tomorrow. I think it's her first interview since she left Congress. I'm very interested in watching that.
Me too.
What she has to say. Yeah, I will definitely be tuning into that. But it's getting slim. I mean, the Republican majority is just whittling down to where it's almost like 2-3 votes now.
Yeah, and what they're saying is it's worse than that because some people are out, they're in the hospital, they've just had a hip replacement, or they have an aging body, the Republican parties,
Yeah,
so they're not always there to vote. And so the only way that they're going to be able to prevent a lame duck presidency at this point is if every single GOP member shows up, and because a couple of them are now voting with the Democrats, it's a lame duck presidency. It's over.
because
And I think that that's what Spirit meant, is that to 5 months to the day Marjorie Taylor was out
Mhm. Yeah,
from that remote, and the Epstein files came out, and then the civil war with MAGA. He's lame duck.
Yeah, oh, he is definitely. Because, you know, in addition to the one who died, the one who's in the hospital,
Right.
sorry to put it in terms like that, but there's also another Republican who some reporters said he's avoiding the Republican Party like the plague right now. I wish I could think of his name, but he's tending, as you said, there are people voting Democratic now, Republicans, so he may be one of them. So Mike Johnson he can't even afford to lose one vote right now.
Yeah, well, I don't think he has the votes. If you have 3 or 4 that have already left that they don't plan on, you have to realize also that something like 20 or 30 are not running again. So they have,
I didn't realize it was that high.
Yeah, they have no skin in the game anymore. So they can go ahead and vote with the Democrats.
Yeah.
They can vote for the Democrats. They're not coming back after 2026. And that's the point. The point is that there are 20 or 30 that are already, I don't want my legacy to be sticking up with this pedophile who's been suppressing the Epstein file. So this is another thing. They don't have the vote. I don't believe that they have the votes anymore. I don't.
I think the joke is on them if that's their thinking, because I think their legacy is already set and it's really bad for many of these Republicans. But a lot of them got extremely wealthy. Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene, $22 million. I keep thinking back to what Harry Truman said. I mean, I know now we'd say congressperson, but he said, show me a congressman who got rich in office and I'll show you a crook.
Oh,
yeah.
I wanted to take a quick moment before we reach out and say hi to everybody. I just wanted to thank everyone who has submitted your books to our Book of the Month Club. I know it's your life's work, many of you, and Chuck and I, we want to accept every book that gets submitted, but it's just not possible. But we are very committed. If you are an independent author, please send your book to 1819 Southwest 5th Avenue, Suite 116, Portland, Oregon, 97201. The address is below this video in the description. We do have a Book of the Month club. We've had it for over 3 years now, I believe.
Over 3 years.
And we like upbeat, positive books with spiritual messages. They can be fiction or nonfiction. And what are you thinking, Chuck, about our latest Book of the Month?
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, I've only started it, but you were so right when you said this is a well-written book.
Yeah, she's very
She's a good writer. I mean, already I know I'm going to enjoy this. I just haven't had a chance to really sit down and dig into it, but I did start it enough where I can see it's good. And you know, what you were saying about how it's so hard we want to accept everybody's books. I told you like 20 years ago, I used to work with a literary agent where I literally had to help him go through about 200 submitted manuscripts a week. And it was heartbreaking because I could see people were sending their children to us, you know, it was their life's work. I mean, I would get these manuscripts wrapped in tissue and lovingly boxed, like, here is my book. And, you know, you want to accept it. You want to give them a break. And, you know, you have to be.
But I think if you can take the time to tell people, you know,
we did.
I read the book, or I appreciate your work,
that.
never give up, that sort of thing, because I think it's so important. But yeah, so The Trouble with Truth, this is a really intense, this is the kind of a book that you read when you're in a therapy group together. I mean, it's so easy for us to lie to ourselves, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is. And it's even mentioned on the back of the book here about the truth will set you free, but first it will make you miserable. Now, I don't know if that's always the case, but there's certainly validity in that statement.
Yeah, and it reminds me again of Joan Didion, A Year of Living a Magical Thinking.
The Year of Magical Thinking, which is
this book has that, where she has to come to terms with what, you know, she would not give her husband's clothes away because she kept thinking he's going to come back. And the man had keeled over and had a heart attack in front of her and died. He died instantly. And yet she would not give his clothing away.
I think she said they were at the dinner table. He stood up and just fell down, even broke his front tooth. He fell on the table, just dropped dead. And then, of course, her daughter got seriously ill. Their only child together got seriously ill as well.
And they had so many problems. And they were talking about her daughter
Yes.
And he was sitting down to eat, and he had a scotch, and she was tossing the salad, and he went like this, boom, into his plate. And she thought
Yes.
he was making a joke because they were talking about his daughter. And
I
she
know.
said, "Don't do that. Don't be that way about her."
I
And it's
know.
like, no, this guy is,
Yeah.
time to go.
I wish I had seen the play. It was turned into a play.
Right.
Vanessa Redgrave did it on Broadway, and
Oh,
they
wow.
expanded it because the book doesn't go into the death of the daughter so much, just the illness, where the play goes into everything. And it was Vanessa
woman went
Redgrave. I
through
wish
so much.
it had been recorded or something. I wish I could have seen it.
Yeah, so I think that this book is, if you like that and about the psychology of our minds and how we see things, how we see things in order to survive, the lies we tell ourselves. Also reminds me of the memoirs out of Vietnam, where they had support groups for veterans in Vietnam, and how they had, part of the PTSD was that they had false memories of things being better than they had actually been. And one was a nurse who had been in Vietnam, and a building collapsed on top of a child that was running to her.
Dear
and
God.
in her memory, the child had escaped the building and gotten to her. And it was like, thank God the child was safe. That was very scary. And then people had to inform her, don't you remember? He died instantly. So she had constructed another story to cope with the psychological horror of what she had seen as a nurse in Vietnam.
Right. You're reminding me of when I used to work in Brentwood, across from the Veterans Administration, and I would see so many of these Vietnam veterans just so shell-shocked, so traumatized, just basically unable to function anymore.
Yeah. So sad. I also wanted to take the time before we get started to just thank those people who sent cards. I received some lovely cards from everyone. You need to get a P.O. box, Chuck, so people can write to you.
I do. I would love that. You know what? I love old-fashioned handwritten letters and cards. I guess that's our generation, of course, but
sure.
it's a beautiful thing.
I love Valentine's Day because of
oh my gosh. Well, I will send you a Valentine. A real Valentine. I'll keep that in mind. But there's just something lovely when someone takes the time to handwrite anything now, to personalize something. It's so
thank
thoughtful.
you, Lynn Underwood. Thank you to Patty Gunas. Thank you to Judith Cash as well, for and some lovely pictures of Judith. She's interested in naturopathic medicine, which I think is great. If she lived in California, she wanted to be an intern. I was like, great.
Gee.
He used to be my intern. I also wanted to give a thank you to Jolene Anderson for the lovely gift. She sent me some organic. This is my favorite sage. This is the Greek sage, which is drying. It's very good if you have a pitta overload. People had talked about cooling the heat during the fire dragon, where we see a hyperactivity of the heart, increased risk for heart attack, heart disease, fire in the heart. Too much fire causes
Inflammation.
Right. So what is the enemy of fire?
Well, you want cooling.
So what's its enemy? Water. So what happens with global warming? Too much heat. What happens?
Water evaporates, ice melts,
and you wind up with flooding. So the natural, what the Chinese worked out is that for every action, there's a reaction of equal or greater force. And you have traditional Chinese medical theory: too much heat, you'll get a response of too much water. So if we're talking about somebody like Donald Trump, for example, and why we believe he had congestive heart failure, we still believe he has congestive heart failure, is because when you have too much heat in the body from junk food, you attract too much water. Right. So what you'll often see with coronary artery disease and too much heat in the body is that the body will respond with what's known as a pitta state. A kapha state. It will slow down. This is the theoretical medical records. These are medical records that we built based on evidence using artificial intelligence. But one of the things we suspect is that he's getting IV diuretics from this water, because ischemic cardiomyopathy with early to moderate congestive heart failure rated at 2 or 3, which means he can still fly. He just can't fly more than 4 hours. So he'd be able to go back and forth between Florida and New York or DC in Florida,
Yeah.
DC in Pennsylvania, but he can't do more than 4 hours. Also,
Yeah.
the patient probably has diabetes and neurocognitive disorder, evidence of that as well. But if you're talking about the other thing that you'll see with pitta during the time of the fire horse is oil. Like, how do you burn an engine with oil, right?
Yeah.
So what you'll often see with these young males that are high in testosterone, they have a lot of pitta, they have a lot of fire, is oily skin, acne.
Oh yeah, acne is
And so
very common.
the first thing we want to do is pull dairy, no more pizza. They're living on pizza, which is one of the things that will clog and actually cause acne as we pull dairy from those guys.
Sure.
But that is an example of these pitta characteristics. So if you have what's called a pitta imbalance, then you want to think about cooling it. So we are all going to be experiencing that pitta imbalance, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
It's not something that you can avoid during the time of the fire horse. And that's what I want people to be aware of.
I've been making my own changes on your advice. Yeah.
So if you have stress on the heart, you could be having too much salt, right? What are the things that stimulate pitta? Heat, salt, fat. And what does that do? It causes you to take in water, right?
Yes.
So every action, there's a reaction of equal or greater force. And that's what's going on with your body. That's what's going on with my body, right? Is we just have to
you feel almost all of it. We're like collectively, this is happening to us in this
right. So all of us, to some extent, are going to be feeling that pitta imbalance. So what does that feel like? What is that fire horse energy? Pitta imbalance is excess heat. It manifests as irritability. So you may start feeling with that. Right. And
fear,
Right. So that's the kind of energy of the fire horse.
But on
Irritability.
the positive side, it can also be you're driven, you're more positive, you have more initiative, drive. That's what I'm feeling right now.
Oh, no, those are the positive aspects. We're talking about the negative aspects.
The negative, of course, yes.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we love our pitta. I have a lot of pitta in me. I'm very driven, professional athletes, right? The discipline of pitta, right?
Yeah.
Irritability, but when it goes awry, irritability, anger, skin issues, acne, rashes, redness, digestive problems. So that's the heart and the small intestine being the most affected.
Right. I'm even thinking to Chinese medicine, or an acupuncturist, when they check your tongue, if your tongue is too red, that's indicative of too much heat in the body.
Right. So, when we're thinking about how do I get myself out of this horrible way that I'm feeling, you want to go with the things that are cooling. And when we think about the things that are cooling, we're thinking about greens, beans, onions, berries, mushrooms, nuts, and seeds, avoiding salt and avoiding fat.
Yeah. I'm getting back into my celery juicing again. I have a juicer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I wasn't doing it for a while, but upon your advice, I'm going back in this direction. I'm being much more.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah. So that's one of the cooling foods, so when we think about, the fastest way to cool, cucumber and mint.
Oh, yes.
The
I
melon.
love that. Just you saying that, it's so refreshing.
Right. Yeah. So that's the things that are going to cool, and it's going to help take out that extra salt. If you've got too much fat and salt, you have a little bit of cucumber and mint.
Yeah.
You want to avoid things that are spicy and hot. Sour, unripe fruit is bad for you. Salty foods, too much stress. Moderate exercise is fine, but you want to be avoiding too much extremes of the person that has a heart attack on the treadmill trying to prove something.
Right. I sometimes wondered about myself, because I can be like that. Yes, I'm going to push myself harder. And no, that can be detrimental.
I want to go into this a bit more in terms of predictions for 2026, and then we'll go into the blitzes and everything else.
Sure.
But the emotions you could be seeing, particularly with Donald Trump, I think you're seeing this right now: anger, irritability, impatience, perfectionism, and not so much. Maybe he expects it from other people. Hypercriticism, frustration, jealousy. I expect that also with his relationship with J.D. Vance getting all the attention.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I was listening to Mary Trump today, and she was talking about how these have always been his qualities, but it's just now with his approaching dementia and his cognitive decline, it's accelerating. It's becoming bigger, but because we're so accustomed to seeing Donald Trump like this, it almost masks over it, makes it harder to really observe properly.
Right. So the burning sensation, heat intolerance, hot flashes, redness, we talked about that, inflammation, fever. The area, the organs are the small intestine and the heart.
Yeah.
The pericardium are affected. So think in terms of this year, you want to eat less animal fat, like less is more, and be focusing more on get off the carbs too. And thinking in terms of just whole green foods like greens, apples, coconuts, ghee, and minimize your hot spices, your pickles, your tomatoes, your alcohol, your caffeine, which move towards things that are going to be cooling: cilantro, mint, fennel, cardamom, cumin, coriander, and saffron, relaxing music. Think about, a pitta pacifying diet, the
I like that. Pitta pacifying diet.
Right. So just a way that you're going to be able to keep yourself cool during these times that are pretty hot and fiery.
I was even thinking earlier when you were mentioning oil, like oil in the body, but here we literally have what's going on with Venezuela right now, the oil. But I just wanted to throw that out, but we're still on this topic.
Yeah, and wood oil, right? The oils in the wood are part of what makes the wood so flammable.
Right.
So if you're looking at it from an Ayurvedic perspective, wood feeds fire.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And wood horse gave birth to fire horse 12 years ago. They always give birth to the next element.
Yeah.
But you can see that animosity, water, the pointer is the adversary, is pointing right at fire. So this is what you also are going to see on the planet, is you're going to see this crazy weather as this imbalance happens between fire and water. So we should be, I'm seeing a lot of flooding happening in the northeastern United States.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So isn't it going on all over the world right now?
Yeah, I know you're getting some. I know Washington and Oregon.
Oh, yes, we are.
I'm really concerned about major hurricanes and floods because we have so much snow depositing in the Northeast that when it starts to melt and when those storms start to hit, particularly the ones off the East Coast, I just worry that they're going to be under so much water when all that stuff starts to melt and get up into the upper atmospheres.
Yeah. What happens here? We tend to get devastating mudslides, as you well know, as you remember living here. A lot of houses falling off the sides of built mountains,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead. We're going to blitz away and go ahead and give us your name or the name of someone you want us to pray for, and we will include them in our prayers today. Also, I forgot to mention that Jolene also sent me this beautiful candle.
Oh, those are nice.
It smells amazing. It's rose and sandalwood, which are my favorite flavors.
Oh, I enjoy things like that.
Thank you, Jolene. That's very kind. Jolene.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew it.
Jolene, Jolene. I'm learning to sing it as an Irish song.
Oh, you know something? I bet you Dolly Parton would love that.
I'm turning it into like an Irish ditty.
I met her once. She is the sweetest lady in the world. She's everything. She is exactly what you would expect her to be. Just so down to earth, so sweet.
Lovely. She's a woman.
Concert too.
She was meant to be famous, wasn't she?
Wasn't she? I mean, she came from such humble beginnings. But look where she is now. And she's one of our greatest philanthropists. She gives millions of dollars away. And of course, her literacy program where she sends books to hundreds of thousands of children.
What a lovely woman.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And
she's a Democrat, but she never admits to it publicly.
No, she's very careful not to admit her politics.
But well, she admitted she was voting for Obama, and she came out and she voted for. She probably said,
because I saw an interview with her. She said
came out for gay rights.
Yeah, but she gave an interview. She was asked about her political opinions, and she said, "Darling, no, I'm not alienating half of my fan base. I'm keeping those to myself." She said,
"Yeah, but when you look at her actions,
I know she's
very much a liberal, which is awesome. Back in the day when there were Southern Democrats, right?" All right, let's bring in the empath's prayer.
Okay.
Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decision for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen. And for those people today who have requested a healing, we come together as a community at this time and we pray. We pray that you and those you love receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. And together again we say, Amen, Amen, Amen.
Amen.
May all souls be healed.
May all souls be healed.
Always nice to do that prayer.
It is.
Get the ball rolling with some good vibes.
Get the love out there. There's so much love amongst our viewers, and I get to talk to some of you on the phone when I do my calls for you. I mean, you're beautiful people here. It's really a privilege.
I agree.
Yeah. And I need to put on my glasses.
You want me to read it?
Oh, no, I can read it here. Was the Venezuelan VP of Maduro involved in his capture and arrest? That's a good question.
Everybody is saying, because, Putin is still in charge. The VP is also with Putin. So did Putin just pull him out, arrange to send him to Moscow? The whole entire thing has been prearranged for months. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I will say this just quickly. There was a piece on the news this morning where she supposedly called for his release, despite what Trump said that she's fully cooperating with him. But that might have been for show. So this is a good question. Let's get my cards here.
Well, the first thing I pick up is that Maduro will probably not be in the United States, or he'll be sentenced. And I just don't think I think this whole thing is over in 4 months. And I don't know why I'm saying that. But he's got patience over him that he's going to be okay. And the opposition is going to hang it up. So I think we're not going to prosecute. I think we're going to put him on a plane like Bolsonaro and send him back to Brazil and let the people of Brazil do what they're going to do with Bolsonaro.
Yeah.
You have this kind of feeling like once things stabilize, let the people. So he either goes back as a civilian facing a trial in his own country, or he goes to a host country. But you know what? He's got this moving into his 9th house. So I'm thinking he's going to be moved. And I'm feeling 4 months. This says 6 months. But I think it's a deal. He's going to get pardoned just like the other guy and get sent back to wherever.
Yeah. I don't know. I was getting something where he is going to be detained in some way or another, because I got the solitude card. Like he's, like you went into more specifics about how he may be shipped to another country like Brazil, but I'm just getting that solitude. Like I take that to mean being put away, being isolated. It could be he could be in exile to himself. Maybe that's what it means. But I had phrased the question in my cards about the VP, and I get she's doing whatever she has to do just to survive right now. If that means saying what she needs to say, she's going to say it. Business card, like business as usual, but ultimately it's about striking a balance here, some kind of order. That's more her objective right now.
Yeah, and you don't want to totally end your ties with China and Russia. We haven't ended our ties with China and Russia. Why should they?
Yeah.
It wasn't about that. People have to understand that Putin's agenda was not to make money off Venezuelan oil. We need to get off of that. The function of Putin's relationship with Venezuela was to shut down oil production so that people would begin leaning towards his oil so that he could control the prices and sell his own oil. And that's what they did. He bankrupted Venezuela by shutting down their oil industry.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to add to that, and this was just announced. It was a news bulletin I got on my phone like an hour ago, that Trump has a new list of demands for Venezuela. And among those are to kick out China, kick out Russia,
Yeah, good luck.
Iran, and Cuba, and sever all economic ties. And Venezuela must sell their oil exclusively to the United States.
Give
That's
me
just
a break.
I know, but
look at the United States. Have you ever ordered anything from Amazon? We are so deep inside China.
Yeah.
So everybody else but us gets to have nobody else but us gets to have deals with China and Russia. We have trade with China and Russia, but they can't. Yeah, we have sanctions right now. I get it.
Yeah.
But we're still wheeling and dealing with China.
Yeah, of course. But that's our president. I mean, that was just the news bulletin. It was like maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock today. But that's his new demands. And he's also still insisting that the U.S. is in charge of Venezuela. Oh, yeah. And another news bulletin I got like an hour ago, Trump is now claiming that Venezuela is turning 30 to 50 million barrels of oil a day over to the United States. That's what he's claiming.
Well, I'm glad they're finally allowed to sell their oil, because the other, when you think about Putin, it's just like shut it down. So the guy is just sitting there letting the oil just rot in the field while people don't have to. I mean, if you're going to get off oil, find another economy for the people. But they didn't do that. They just went broke. So that Putin can sell his Turkish stream trade route. That's such BS, man.
Of course it is. Of course
What the hell is that? It goes back to why Turkish stream was bombed, Have you seen any of these images on the Turkish stream? He is so hell-bent on getting that Turkish stream. Have you seen this thing? Have you seen how wide this thing is?
Yeah.
The Nord Stream pipeline that he was building?
Because we've been talking about that for a long time, as recently as the last show, about trade routes. That's
right.
Yeah.
So what he was doing was he was just driving them into the ground, so that this is the new trade route. You want oil? I got oil, right? So this was it. Look at how wide.
That's massive.
Yeah, look, it goes all the way to Austria, down into the Trans-Anatolian pipeline past Turkey.
That looks like it would have to be one of the largest in the world.
Yeah. So all he had to do when he installed these people is to just get them to turn the oil off.
Oh yeah.
You see what I mean? He didn't need to take the oil. He just needed you to turn the pipe off. Yeah.
Well, I once had a psychic intuitive say to me, the oil represents the lifeblood of the planet. It's like the blood running through our veins and arteries, the oil in the earth. And how the Bible, I think it was said in the Bible, the final war would be over water. Now I'm wondering if it won't be over oil.
Well, a lot of people feel that the sweet waters, you have animals that live in the sea. First life comes from Yamaya, the goddess of the ocean. And then the goddess of the sweet waters, the land, is Oshun, and she is our mother. And she is the circulatory system, which brings water and nutrients to the plant. So water is actually the lifeblood of the earth, the sweet waters and the salt waters. And oil is like the bile. It's the black bile.
That makes a lot more sense.
Which is a different energy. It's closer related to like our liver. It's that concentrated black bile.
It's the liver dumping its toxins, dumping its fats, its cholesterol, the things that we don't need.
Right. It has that fat. Very good. So you want to read this, or do you want me to read
yes, of course, because this is another good question here. Since Greenland is a NATO territory, I was thinking about this today. Since Greenland is a NATO territory, will the United States find itself fighting against NATO if Trump decides to go in? I think that's a very good question. It's quite a dilemma.
Well, now they're saying they're calling for Trump's arrest if he tries it. So
really? I didn't hear that.
Is NATO going to be arresting Trump for attempting to take Greenland, a country with... Now, how many people does it have? 30,000. Most of them suicidal too, by the way. It has it has some of the highest suicide rates in the world.
Well, don't they go through the 6 months of darkness?
Yeah, but I also think
like
people feel like
Scandinavia.
there's no hope, like the depression. I don't know why it causes intense depression, but I was watching a documentary about one of the villages, and it does have a radio station, and that's their one contact with the outside world. And when the reporter
Yeah,
got there, they were having a celebration of life for a young man that had taken his own life with the church. And it was just like, yeah, a lot of the native people, they just feel lost, and it's a very high suicide rate.
yeah, it's
But
understandable.
yeah, so it goes back, Chuck, we had talked about this trade route that is part of the Siberian,
Hmm.
this it's coming in here.
Yes, we had talked about that before.
Right. So
Another major, potentially major trade route.
right. So we have the question about Russia again attempting to lasso in North America, South America. I don't know,
Yeah.
how do you feel about this? Do
Well,
you I
that's the claim of
Why don't
Trump.
we so look, if we're this
I'm
afraid of Russia, then we well, we literally do have to be afraid. I
Yeah,
mean, I know, look, I'm the most liberal Democrat possible, but I'm also a realist. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
sure.
And
Well,
we have to be in touch with reality. I mean, they're trying to take us out. They're trying to surround us. I mean, look at where this trade route is coming in. We are
sure.
gonna be freaking surrounded. Look at this.
Well, I do
They're
know.
lassoing us in and then coming down here all the way down into South America. We're toast.
Sure.
We have to
Well,
accept it. We can't just be like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Well, I don't want to get involved. Well, then you're going to be squeezed like a freaking tamale.
yeah.
Like
Well, Trump was just talking about this, and he's reasserting. He's saying we need Greenland for
he's
national
right.
security. So he's right
I don't
there.
want him to say it, and I don't want to take over Greenland.
Yeah,
But what NATO has said is they are very concerned about these ice
yeah.
cutters coming in and cutting ice in this area and getting
Oh,
dangerously
sure.
close to creating that military lasso, and they
Hmm.
just have to squeeze and squeeze,
Sure.
and then the next thing you know, we've got an invasion.
Yeah. Because we have
This is
Russian,
yeah,
we
I'm
have
sorry.
Russian and Chinese ships all up and down, as you're saying. And so, yeah, I agree. This is one of the few things maybe I would agree on Trump with. Maybe it
Well,
is.
NATO agrees with Trump. Everybody agrees. We are concerned. Denmark says, yes, we are very concerned about
Yeah,
what this means for security in the area. So why not work with NATO
yeah,
to have a base there or something that is a
well, yeah.
NATO base, but you don't conquer the country.
Yeah. Well, exactly. The key word you just said, work with NATO. Because, like, for example, you touched on this, the island would be strategic for a ballistic missile warning system. That's been brought up. But it's also being countered. The island does have a lot of critical minerals. Let's see, I have a list here. Graphite, copper, nickel, zinc, tungsten, lithium, all these things used for modern technology. And right now, China has the monopoly with those things. So that would balance it out more toward us. But I also agree. Let's work with NATO, not just take over the island. That sounds like
Sure.
beginnings of
NATO
free.
is just as concerned as Trump is, but the solution is not to take somebody's country.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, we were talking at the beginning of the show how on the surface, a lot of this looks like the beginnings of World War III. Trump wanting to take over the Western Hemisphere. Now he wants Greenland, and and then taking on NATO. It just sounds like a recipe for disaster, a perfect
Let's
storm.
let's take a look at the cards and see what the cards say.
Okay, what are we asking specifically?
Is Greenland going to get taken over by the United States? It's so crazy.
This is something where I'm going to ask Pendulum, because I don't think my cards are really giving it to me. Is Greenland going to be taken over by the United States?
Do you want me to go first?
Well, I'm just going to tell you this much real quick. I took this to the Pendulum because it wasn't giving me anything definitive with cards. And I'm getting, when the pendulum goes in the middle between yes and no, that means maybe. It's like it's still up in the air. It's not determined yet. That's what I'm getting from my end. But I really want to hear what you have to say. Your cards.
The main thing I get is that the European Union and the Monetary Fund and everybody else has reached the point where they are done with this president. And if you don't get control of this fruitcake, we will get control of him for you. That is what I'm hearing. I'm feeling this energy coming from the Monetary Fund, the World Trade Organization, that if you don't do something about this fruitcake you've got in the White House, we're going to come in and we're going to take care of it.
Okay.
The head of Denmark also feels not only threatened, but shocked by what he perceives of as insanity on the part of Trump.
Yeah.
So he's beginning to, this can be like, there's an aspect, the emotion associated with the kidneys and the emotion is associated with the kidneys and the bladder in Chinese medicine.
Also with the adrenals so close to the kidneys also.
Yeah. So it's fear. Very good.
Kidneys, regulating blood pressure and so forth.
Right. So in Chinese medicine, when you're talking about a water imbalance, you're talking about fear. And that would be kidney, bladder, bone, and ears. Also, losing your hearing can be a water imbalance. Issues with the bones. What's interesting about water is that it can evoke terror in us, fear of drowning, icy cold. Have you ever been out on a boat on an icy cold, stormy night? It can be pretty scary and breathtaking, but the emotion of water is fear. And so we have this kind of, I think he's genuinely afraid. Like, this guy's a psychopath. He really is talking about going to war with Denmark. The one guy is afraid of him and thinks he's crazy, and the other one is establishing territory. We will freaking strip you of your power in G8. We will strip now it's G7.
Yeah.
Look at this fighting. It leads to intense fighting in the EU and NATO. Look, he is so out of control that if we don't get control of him, they will.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And when you consider how powerful NATO is, it consists of France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Spain, Denmark, the United Kingdom. That's quite an alliance to be going up against. But they keep flip-flopping. Like Trump saying he's going to invade, seize Greenland, and then today, oh no, we just intend to purchase it. We don't intend to actually steal it. They're going back and forth all over the place. So yeah, it does look psychotic. The whole world sees Trump for what he really is. God, I have a friend in Canada. She said, if Americans could see the news coverage they get up there, and she said there's so much that we are not being told here on our own news.
Like what? You mean about Epstein?
Well, no, I just mean about Trump in general. I don't have specifics for you. I mean, we could go on that one, but
I think the ice thing, we didn't see the ice footage. They didn't air it here. The 60 Minutes.
Well, we get a lot of that, like just on local news here in Los Angeles, a lot of the atrocities with the ICE arrests and the cruelty of it. But I was going to say, because you travel so much, I'm sure you watch television news in other countries and you see for yourself. I've noticed that whenever I've been in Europe, how the perspective is so different. And of course, here, a lot of people get their news from places like Fox, where it's all sanitized and made bite-sized and pro-Trump.
I think Fox is done with Trump, though, because
I think
Murdoch is getting done with him.
Yeah, well, I saw a thing today, because usually Fox is very good at taking Trump's BS and making it digestible and appealing to the base. And they're saying this is one time they're having trouble. How do you explain all this stuff right now? Kidnapping a president of another country and his wife and seizing control of a country. Not even Fox can spin that one.
Yeah, that would be pretty difficult. All right. Will Putin make a deal with Ukraine or face ouster arrest by NATO special forces? What are you thinking? Which way? We know he has to go because it's part of the phases. And all the supercomputers agree that the only way we're going to deal with this insanity is he has to get removed.
Yeah.
They're not recommending we assassinate him and violate any law. They're saying arrest him. You got to get hands on him, though.
I was going to ask you, was Putin tried by the Hague by proxy? Was he ever like found guilty?
There is an arrest
Guilty
warrant.
of war crimes. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I couldn't
because he
remember
kidnapped
what it
20,000
was.
children, The truth of the matter is that Trump should also be charged for war
Yes, he
crimes.
should. Yes, he should, if there's any justice in the
I
world.
mean,
Absolutely.
God help us that we don't know what's going on in those ICE raids. I think we need to know what's going on in those facilities, and I think we're all 100% accountable if we don't demand what is being done in our name. What is being
Yeah.
done in my name with
Well,
my tax dollars? I pay a lot in taxes. I want to know
I
what
know
you're
you
doing
do.
here in Oregon and what you're doing in the rest of the country.
Yeah. Well, I just, if I could add this real quickly, I was
Sure.
listening to Matt Gutman today, the reporter. He's now for CBS, and he was talking about where Maduro is jailed in New York. And they said that the conditions are just deplorable. Like, prisoners are fed food that's moldy. It's so cold, prisoners are bartering for socks to wear just to keep their feet warm. And it's meant to break you. And that's where they have Maduro right now. But you're also...
Okay, I'm sorry. Is this the same place that they kept Epstein or not?
No, but it's where Ghislaine Maxwell was for a while. And this was according to her attorney, who described the conditions in the jail. That's how Matt Gutman got the information. But you had me thinking that about ICE detaining, the people being arrested and put in these basically glorified concentration camps right now. The conditions, I've heard about people being kept in cages. They're not allowed to bathe. They're having to eat food off the floor, just beyond deplorable.
Well, that shouldn't be allowed in this country.
Of course it shouldn't. It should, no. Gross human rights violations.
All right. Well, let's
Sorry to get off track there, but you made me think of that.
Right. Putin's, what's going to happen with Putin? Is he going to be, God, I don't understand what the holdup is.
Yeah. And
is it just hard that we can't get a hold of him? We can't get physical hands on him?
I'm sure he's well protected right now. He still has enough people around him to do that, but how much longer he can get away with it. But I'm just feeling like somebody who's cornered and he's getting desperate. And I'm wondering if that's the only way he would concede to a deal, just to save himself. But anyway, let me see what I get here. Oh. I'm getting a no that he's going to concede to a deal, but I'm not saying that's necessarily going to happen. Because first of all, I got some things that look kind of good for Ukraine, like peace, new life, gifts. And when I was asking about Putin, look at that. Remember, I got that solitude card, solitude, deprivation. I take that to mean he's going to be put away somewhere. Now, I don't know if that means exile, prison, or what, but he's going to be set aside. Now, what do you have, Whimsy?
My gosh, I have something very similar. I had, he's in the grave. He's stopped.
Whoa.
His opposition has a sword after him, the sword of victory.
Yeah.
And he is stopped or detained.
Yeah.
His hopes and fears getting the deal. And he will be taken out, 6 of swords. So he has an opportunity to have a cushy retirement at his villa in
Siberia.
Northeast Siberia, right? That he claims got bombed, but evidently it didn't get bombed.
No.
That's where his family lives, in the palace, in his Siberian palace. So I think this guy can survive. 6 of swords would indicate that he's going to go off, just like Gorbachev, just like Yeltsin.
Yeah. I didn't want to interrupt you if you're still talking, but I'm also just feeling energetically, this is going to be very hard for him to be a has-been, to be set aside, to not have his power anymore, because that's so intrinsic to his ego and bravado. He's not going to take being in exile very well, but that's his problem, as long as we just get rid of him.
Wow.
Yeah. Me or you? Hegseth threatening Kelly and others who are retired military about demoting their rank and retirement pay. I thought that was disgusting what he did to Kelly. I just saw a thing on Facebook last night. Kelly was making a private appeal to his people saying, would you please sign this petition saying you support me? I need your support right now. I need to know you're with me. I'm paraphrasing it, but that's basically
what the hell. This is sick.
Of course,
this is psychopathy. This is not our country.
No,
I can't even.
And if I may say, it's also very stupid because Kelly is quite beloved. He's a hero. You don't mess with people like that before.
And he stands a good chance of winning the election if Kamala doesn't run.
And that might be part of the motivation behind this. Let's see what we can do to disempower him now. But I think it's going to backfire. But
yeah, I think so.
But what are we asking, please?
Taking down their enemies. They're also going after JD Vance.
Are they? Oh, yes, of course. I watched that on your show the other day. Trump is jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that should be no surprise.
Well, he's not getting invitations to Turning Point. Turning Point has snubbed him. It's fine. We like JD. You don't need to show up.
Well, and also it gets back to Trump. You want to talk about an egomaniac. He is not going to handle being a has-been either.
Well, imagine how he feels. Oh, there's a interview on Turning Point. Well, they need me. No, that's okay. They asked JD instead. Oh, really? Yeah. And she talks about he's not so strong. He's so manly. He is strong. He is manly. Yeah. You have Erica just and who are you? Well, you're just some old fart who everybody hates, who's covering up a pedophile, right? So we don't want you here at Turning Point. We want our new man, JD Vance. So you have, come on, man. Of course he wants to tear JD Vance apart.
Of course he does. Turn on him like he turned on Pence.
Of course.
It was hard not to think about that because, today is the anniversary of January 6th. So, this has all been rehashed on television today, like on The View, they were talking about it, and how Trump has a website now where he's trying to rewrite history, claiming, oh, these were just peaceful protesters. And I think I saw today there were some of those protesters who came back to the Capitol today and had their framed copies of their pardons with them, holding them up.
I think the intelligence agencies have to answer for all of this. How many rape victims had to come forward that you said, oh, she's just making it up? 100, 200, 1,000? Oh, she's just making it up? Yeah. We don't have to investigate. It's another woman making up stuff. At some point, the intelligence agencies are going to have to answer for this. In terms of Hegseth's relationship with Kelly, this is Hegseth. Hegseth's on thin ice. I feel like he could lose his job.
We've been feeling that for quite a while.
There's the Two of Swords. It's almost like people are telling him to shut up.
It makes a lot of sense. It's like I said earlier, when you've got a beloved hero like Kelly, the public is like, no, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Right.
You don't mess with someone like that. He's quite revered. He's respected. You're actually the antithesis of what Hegseth is. Hegseth is being looked at as a joke, unqualified for his job. Everybody seems to know about his drinking problem. You hear the jokes about he's got vodka in the water cooler and stuff like that. And Saturday Night Live has been skewering him. He's a joke. Even, like that time that, they called all of those military leaders to come in for this big meeting. And he was out there, acting like he was George C. Scott and Patton. Too bad they didn't have the flag behind him. But everybody was just mocking him and laughing at him. Yeah.
My predictions for Bondi. I think Bondi sweating over her involvement with the Epstein cover-up. I think that she will be called before Congress. She will be interrogated and she will fall.
I think so too. She's another one who's looked at as an incompetent joke.
Let's take a look at her cards.
This is going to be interesting. Bondi's ooh, not looking good. it's not looking good.
No, it isn't.
No, it is not looking good. I can already tell here. This card comes up several times, but she's another one fighting for her own survival right now.
Yes.
She's worn out. She's exhausted. She's in despair. And I got the family card. I take that to mean like what she is believed to be her loyalty from the MAGAs, from Trump and so forth. It's like she's being abandoned by her family right now. It's not good. What do you have? Oh, I do get she's in a bit of denial about all this.
Oh, really? See,
Yeah.
I think that she's leaving Trump because she has this time to get sober.
Sober.
Look at her opposition. Look at her opposition. This put yourself in her shoes. Put yourself in her shoes and imagine what it feels like to be her dealing with MAGA.
Yeah. It's like
Knight of Swords is after the Knight of Swords. She's getting death threats. She's getting people that want to kill her. The rage of the Knight of Swords is bull in a china shop. So she has people literally, they're going to come and kill her if you don't give us a damn fight. I mean, the people have gone psycho over this. And so she is at this sober, this is her opposition. You better give us a damn fight or we won't kill you. I mean, it's like really, I don't think that people totally understand. I use quick technique. And when you use the cards as a remote viewer, it's just a quick technique to get in and put yourself in the shoes of another person. But when I put myself in her shoes, like what it feels like to have these people coming after me, that Knight of Swords, I'm like, these people are psychopaths, man. I want out of this. Now, the other thing that came in is the Knight of Pentacles. This career is going nowhere. And there is final outcome. She leaves him. The poverty card. I'm out the door, the broken man. I am locked out of church. She is going to find a graceful way to exit.
Well, we've said that about the rats fleeing the sinking ship.
Yeah.
It goes down in flames. Another reason why I want to hear what Marjorie Taylor Greene has to say tomorrow. Sorry to interrupt you. You're still. I just,
my God, like she is literally getting death threats.
Yeah. I got this, about her survival. She's just exhausted from all of this. It's so much. But do you feel like, because I really got this hit that she's feeling betrayal from the people she thought she had allegiance with. And of course, Trump. And of course, Trump has no loyalty to anybody. Anybody should know that. But I want to hear what Marjorie Taylor Greene has to say tomorrow, because, she also is getting death threats.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the MAGA people.
Yeah, they're split. You have one group that wants to kill Trump now, and, they're now, the neo-Nazis are now coming up again. The neo-Nazis and the right-wing lunatics have formed a coalition now that's starting to go after Trump. A lot of the podcasters have turned on Trump.
Yes,
and they have their finger on the pulse of what the constituents want. The fact that there are so many GOP leaving right now, Congress, I think he's a lame duck. I
agree with you.
He's hated. He's not allowed. He's not getting invited to the big parties. His VP is.
Yeah.
That must be so embarrassing.
Oh, with Trump's egos, his narcissism, his insecurities. Oh, it's just playing on everything that drives him crazy. He's not handling this well.
Yeah, so I was just going to close. More news coming out of Iran. I guess we're going to close soon.
Really? Is this recent news? This just broke?
Yeah, the cities are starting to fall one by one, and what's happened is that the police in many of these places have dropped their weapons and joined the protest.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous that we're not going to see phase 4. We're going to see phase 5, but not phase 4, and that leaves me to wonder. Putin is supposed to fall first. I checked today.
You did check today. I was going to ask you.
Yeah, I checked with Grok today, and Grok said Putin goes first.
Well,
so I'm
who knows what's going to happen in the coming days, immediate weeks. We know that, from other, readers, astrologers, January is going to be like a roller coaster month. Joyce Petrus, our guest last week, even said that.
Oh, yeah,
She said, get ready for a ride this month.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at it today earlier, and we were looking at Russia and, how close are we to phase 4? So I went in with Grok today. I do this regularly. So it's a state of emergency in Russia,
Yeah.
and that's basically Putin remains in control, but he's in worse shape than he may be. Uh, he may be in worse shape than um, Iran in some respects.
Could be. We've certainly known a lot has been crumbling within the country. The fact that his military has been falling apart. He's been putting
Right.
teenage boys like 14, 15 years old out handing them guns, and the economy crashed quite a while ago.
Yeah, the problem also, they had trouble with the luring. That was something that they had to abandon for the time being, is trying to get Hamas. They just really dug in. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a little nervous with that thing with, Putin should be gone by now. Come on, Grok. Why is it taking Let's get it going.
You're reminding me of that ketchup commercial, anticipation, waiting for it to come out.
Anticipation is
Keeping me waiting.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not joking about it. I shouldn't. This is so grave, but you made me think of that.
Well, it's one of those things where you wonder, like, how much longer is it gonna take? But, because when we had done it, it is sort of changing, like the whole thing that happened with Hamas, but I'm thinking, "Gosh, dang, man, it's really happening quickly in Iran," so it's like,
Yeah.
what is going on with that phase 4?
I'm even wondering if there's a counter trigger here where this is even related to what's happened with Venezuela, what's happening there. It's all gonna come together in a perfect storm.
Yeah, most people would feel that the fall of Venezuela, just like the fall of Syria, they're cutting cords of everything that props up Russia and Iran that's why we took out Hezbollah
Yes.
in Lebanon, and that's why Syria fell, because Assad was this was part of the axis of evil. So cutting off Iran's allies and trade routes, and that's basically what we see is happening now with Putin in Venezuela, just like when Obama took out Libya, the trade route that they were building in Libya. Yeah. Wow, crazy times, buddy.
It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be a hell of a year.
Yes, it is. We already know that.
So Chuck,
yes,
we're going to have to go because I have a patient, but
that's right, you do, and I know your schedule. I have it here on my iPad.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to announce if anyone
wants I had a great show yesterday, just talking about channeling and spirituality, and so many wonderful people from this channel went over to my show yesterday, and it was really exciting. But anyway, if you want to reach me, to do a reading, you can reach me at my name. I think it's on the screen there. No, it's not, but yes, it is. dransfieldchuck@gmail.com. I can do readings for you. I can also do artwork for you. I generally channel messages from my subjects as I do the illustrations, so you get a little bit more. And of course, my channel, Chuck's Captivating Chronicles. And on Mondays, I do Chuck's Captivating Chat, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern.
All right, there you have it. And of course, if you try to have a reading with me or a medical intuitive consult, you can find all that information and my Booksy, or you can just Google Dr. Whimsy Anderson and the Booksy link comes up. Either way works. Yeah. All right, we're out of here. Thank you so much for spending the hour with us. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. We'll see you next time, everyone.
See you next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you.
We do.